This is Impact Wrestling.
Hi everyone, it's John again with a new episode of Sudden Impact. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about how Impact Wrestling can actually use some of its partner promotions properly. So basically, during this time, more than ever, wrestlers are looking for work. So, and Impact Wrestling is one of the only wrestling companies in America that are actually doing any shows, albeit they've been taping them. But at least they're still producing some wrestling content. Other companies like Major League Wrestling, Ring of Honor Wrestling, and a few of the other smaller companies in America, or pretty much all of the smaller companies in America, have had to stop their wrestling programs, like their wrestling events. And so, and at that step, and Impact Wrestling has partnered up with some of those promotions to just to air Twitch specials and to do tapings in their locations as well. But they haven't really capitalized on the opportunity to actually feature some of those promotions wrestlers on Impact Wrestling programming, and vice versa. So Impact Wrestling hasn't taken the opportunity to actually say, hey, use a couple of our wrestlers to build up your follower base. So given that WWE and AEW are two juggernauts in the professional wrestling industry now, and they're just throwing money left, right, and center at everyone under the sun. So the smaller wrestling companies should work together to just say, hey, don't leave us, don't go to AEW or WWE, stay in our company, because we can send you to just as many places that they would be able to. So we can send you to this company, send you to that company, send you basically everywhere that you would normally go to if you were in either AEW or WWE. And that, I feel that's what Impact Wrestling should do, because it's also got, I think it's the third biggest wrestling company in the States now, and they structured their contracts so that their wrestlers can also work for these smaller companies as well, and so that's something that needs to be done more of in professional wrestling on the whole. They should also be looking to team up with Ring of Honor Wrestling and Major League Wrestling as well. They've been talking about partnering up with those companies in the past, and it's always fallen apart at the last hurdle, and there's been nothing from communication has been gone back and forth between the companies ever since, and that's a real shame because Ring of Honor, as well as Major League Wrestling, have their shows on television, like in the States as well. I mean, albeit on smaller channels, apart from Ring of Honor, which is also on the same channel as Impact Wrestling. But yeah, so basically Impact Wrestling should be the leaders in getting the professional wrestling industry in this America, and as well as the world, like considering they've got partnerships with Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan and AAA Wrestling down in Mexico, and those companies. Noah is the second biggest wrestling company in Japan, and AAA is the biggest company in Mexico. And basically, they should be trying to. Impact Wrestling should be trying to capitalize on those markets, which WWE hasn't really got a foothold in, or even AEW. I know that AEW's got a working agreement with AAA Wrestling as well, but apart from having Kenny Omega as the champion, they haven't really used that relationship effectively, and so I think Impact Wrestling can pick up the ball and say, hey, we've got a working relationship with you. How about we send you some wrestlers to do some matches, and then you send us some wrestlers to do some matches. So it seems like a simple idea. I think the sticking point is getting the visas sorted out, but that's one simple way to grow Impact Wrestling in those countries and the rest of the world. So, and also Impact Wrestling has its own developmental territory, like WWE has NXT. Impact Wrestling has Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was at one stage in the past their developmental territory, but then it fell apart, and they weren't their developmental territory for some time, and then just as recently as last year they restarted that developmental territory relationship with them, and then they sent Impact Wrestling sent OVE down to OVW to really get some interest and just try and lift the standard of wrestling in Ohio Valley Wrestling. And they had a short involvement in a couple of in a build up to one of the major matches between Sami Callihan and the rest of OVE versus Team OVW, and after that nothing has been done ever since, apart from I think recently Madison Rayne became the women's champion of OVW, and so she's been doing her bit to get more exposure and lift the quality of wrestling to where it needs to be for them to the women wrestlers to get signed by Impact Wrestling. But I'd feel it's also would be a good thing to send one of the male wrestlers, so say like Eddie Edwards or Tommy Dreamer or Rhino or one of those veteran wrestlers down to OVW just to get involved in a few matches and like get the wrestlers all prepared and putting on quality matches, so that they might possibly get signed by Impact Wrestling in the future. I know that Tony Gunn was one wrestler that Impact Wrestling have been looking at in the past, and yeah, he was on the verge of signing for them last year, but then he got injured and had, the talks fell apart, and so he had to go back to OVW and work his way back. And then recently, the King's Ransom, which is the team of Leonis and Maximus Khan, have also been on Impact Wrestling's radar, but they haven't actually got that final push, like that final momentum, like where they're putting on 5-star matches and basically forcing Impact Wrestling to take notice of them. So, as far as pro wrestling knowers, it's the opposite situation to AAA wrestling deal with, like, relationship with Impact Wrestling. So Impact Wrestling has sent a couple of wrestlers over to compete in Japan, but they haven't really received, haven't gotten any Noah wrestlers to feature in their programming in Impact Wrestling. So it's kind of very frustrating for everyone involved. So please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell for new content. Thank you.